Hey YouTube, it's ICU. With Samsung's flagship Galaxy S5 Android smartphone scheduled to be released on April 11th, a number of early videos and reports have hit the web ahead of the device's official release, including my in-depth comparison between the Galaxy S5's fingerprint scanner and the iPhone 5s's Touch ID sensor. I'll have a link to that below. Now, one report in particular caught my attention, suggesting that the S5 can withstand being run over by a full-size car. Now, in today's video, I'm not only going to perform a series of brief drop tests to simulate real-world accident scenarios, but I'm also going to put the S5's durability and ruggedness to the test by running it over with a heavy sedan, in this case the Tesla Model S. Before we begin though, I want to preface by saying a couple of things. First, this video is in no way sponsored to cover the damages the S5 will endure, and I'm not being paid by a single company to create this video. Instead, it was spawned out of pure curiosity to see just how far the S5 can be pushed and to dispel a common misconception that plastic phones aren't as high quality as those constructed from more aesthetically pleasing materials like the iPhone 5s and the HTC One M8. At the end of this video, I'll most certainly be out of a new mint condition S5, so in the name of tech, I'm considering giving an unlocked Galaxy S5 away to one of my viewers. So if you're interested and you want to make it happen, just be sure to rate this video up and leave a relevant comment down below in the comment section, which will essentially act as an entry. Also, be sure to share this video. The second thing I wanted to mention is that I really do enjoy the S5. From its gorgeous full HD display, awesome 16 megapixel camera that can shoot 4K video, and its fingerprint sensor, albeit hit or miss in certain situations, to the software aspects like multi-window apps and various improvements to TouchWiz. The Galaxy S5 is truly a next-gen phone, and while it makes me cringe to enroll the S5 in what's bound to be a painful experience, let's get on with the test and push the device to its limits. First, a series of drop tests, starting with the most likely, an out-of-pocket drop. Now, because I'm about 6 feet tall, this first one will be from a height of approximately 3 to 3.5 feet, and now dropping in 3, 2, 1. Alright, and in spite of the fact that the S5 landed directly on the bottom left corner, the phone itself is fine, from a functionality standpoint at least. However, the back casing did pop off and can no longer affix to the body of the phone properly in that area. The top also endured minor scratches. And now moving on to the second drop, which will be held at face level to emulate dropping the phone during a phone call, which is another likely drop possibility. So this time the S5 will be dropped from approximately 5 feet 8 inches and dropping in 3, 2, 1. Okay, and even though this one looked significantly worse than the 3-foot drop and bounced substantially, again, the phone itself is for the most part fine. The bottom and top, however, are continuing to scuff and the plastic is becoming more deformed. For the third drop, the S5 will be held above my head at approximately 9 feet to simulate dropping the device at an arm level while on a raised surface such as a patio. I also attempted to drop the S5 flat on its screen. However, due to its weight distribution, that didn't happen, and it appears as though the second drop had more of a negative impact than the final 9-foot one. And after all 3 drops, the device still functions 100% from the screen and fingerprint sensor on the front to the camera and heart rate monitoring sensor on the back. Again, really the only noticeable damage that occurred around 3 of the device's corners: the bottom left, the top right, and there's slight scuffing on the top left, but the bottom right remains completely unscathed. It's actually quite surprising how well the S5 is held up thus far. Even the glass covering the camera remains intact. And now that the S5 has both survived and passed through the first drop sequence, let's subject it to something a little less likely and significantly more extreme: being run over. Now, while I've done some crude math to determine roughly how much pressure the phone will be under, the figures are approximations. So with that said, the Model S weighs in with a curb weight of 4,647.3 pounds and a weight distribution of 48% in the front and 52% in the back, according to the specs listed on Tesla's site. Considering that the S5 is 5.59 inches tall by 2.85 inches wide for a total surface area of 15.9 inches, and assuming that all weight of the tires will be exerted onto the device, the S5 should have approximately 70.15 pounds of pressure on every inch of the device when the front tire passes over it, and approximately 76 pounds of pressure per inch when the back tire makes contact. However, because the car is moving at an increasing increasing velocity and due to the fact that there's one primary point of contact that extends beyond the rest of the back housing, the camera portion, the accurate counterparts for these approximations will vary. They're merely meant to provide a general idea. And now, without any further ado, let's run over the Galaxy S5 with the Tesla Model S, reaching a max speed of 15 miles per hour. Now, switching to the slow-mo footage, you'll notice that the back of the device is thrust upwards when the front tire finishes passing over the S5, placing significant strain and force on the camera, undoubtedly cracking the glass, protecting the sensor. The phone then flattens out and remains still until the back tire passes over, launching it in the air and causing not only the back plastic to pop off, bend, and partially cracked, but also flinging the battery out of the device. Additionally, the impact cracked the plastic separator for the camera and the heart rate sensor assembly. But the big question is, did the impact cause permanent damage to the S5 that renders it unusable? The answer is a surprising no. Aside from the crack and shattering to the glass covering the camera, the S5 still functions perfectly and the fingerprint sensor still works with accuracy. However, the back plastic cover no longer functions due to significant warping around the camera unit and in the bottom right. So while the device still functions near perfectly, its water-resistant properties are almost certainly gone. Should I test that next, seeing as the S5 has survived being run over by a Tesla? Let me know in the comments section. And again, remember that I personally think the S5 is currently one of the best Android phones available, and I performed this test again because of my own curiosity. Alright, and that's it for this video. Stay tuned for additional coverage on the Galaxy S5, and again, if you're interested in me hosting a new S5 giveaway, be sure to rate this video up and leave a comment as an entry. I'll also have a link below to purchase the Galaxy S5 at a slightly cheaper rate, however it can fluctuate, so act fast. Also, just be sure to subscribe if you aren't already, and if you own an iOS device and you're interested in earning paid iOS apps from Apple's App Store for free while simultaneously supporting developers, just be sure to download Free App Life by visiting either freeapplife.com or bit.ly/getfreeapplife inside of Safari. After it's downloaded, simply install sponsored apps for points and then redeem said points for various prizes, again such as paid application codes and gift cards. And finally, to be updated more often, simply like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter. And until next time, this is ICU signing out.